Hi everyone, welcome back again. My name is Annabelle, and I am doing polymer clay today. So for the past few weeks, I have been doing some sweets, and some of the things that I have done so far. I've done cupcakes, donuts, and ice cream. So this will be today. I'll be doing lollipop. Okay, so these are some of the things that I have done so far. Okay, these were the last 3 weeks that I have been doing. So today is the fourth one, and I will be doing the lollipop. All right. Okay. So if you have any comments, right, please go ahead and write it on the comments here, and I'll be able to answer any of the questions. All right. If not, please go ahead, like our page. Also like the Axia page. There are a lot of other sessions that are happening on this page as well. So if you like to, if you like food, if you like exercise and things like that, they have all these other options, learning a new language as well. Okay. So please do like our page and comment if you have any questions. Along the way, if you have any suggestions too, please do feel free to let me know, and I will also talk about it along the way. Okay, so today we will be doing the lollipop. Okay, so if you can see the items that we have up here, so from the zoom in, today Oppa will be helping me with the technical, my husband too, so he's helping me with the background as well. And the camera. Okay, so he's waving hi. I don't think anyone can see from the back. But okay, so for today's session, very simple because we are making lollipop. You can really choose any colors. Lollipops are very colorful. So you can choose any type of colors that you like. So I'll be doing 2 different colors today. Okay, and then these are the things that you would need. So I'm doing a pink one. Okay, so I just do variations of pink. I have a light pink here and a baby pink. Okay, so if you are doing lollipop, to not go wrong with colors, right? Usually you choose like the different shades of the same color. If not, you can do rainbow color as well. So we are going to make that spiral lollipop that you usually see, the really big ones. Of course, ours will be mini and scaled down. It's meant to be charms on a bracelet or a keychain. Okay, so these are the colors that I'll be doing today. Pink and then green. So you can choose up to like 7 colors. I mean, a rainbow has 7 different colors, right? So you can do as many colors as you want, multicolored. But I'll be doing the shades of green, a peppermint lollipop. Okay, and pink is usually cotton candy. So I'll be, whatever it is, lollipop is sweet, it's very sweet. So I'll be doing these two. Okay, and then you will need eye pins. If you can see here, these are eye pins. These are the ones that will help connect it to the, this will be your connecting point for your charms, all right? If they're all metal, usually they're all metal, so they are safe to bake, okay? The other thing that we would be using today are toothpicks, okay? So toothpicks are also safe to bake, all right? So you just want to get a few toothpicks and then a pair of scissors. And then we would need pliers as well for the inserting of the eye pins later. So you need one to help cut. One of the pliers, you need one to help cut the eye pin short, and just a sharp nose plier to help you bend the metal a little. Okay, so I'm going to start with the lighter color first. So I'll be doing the pink, okay? So, oh, hi everyone. Oh, I see a lot of hellos. I hope everyone's having a good weekend so far. We just finished a long weekend last week, So this week, it's a regular weekend, but I hope everyone is having a good weekend. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I am starting with the lighter color first. Okay, the lighter color, right? Why we are starting with the lighter color? It's because it is if the darker color gets onto the lighter color, then it's a little bit hard to remove. So it's better if we do the lighter color. So I'm starting with the lightest one. Okay, since I'm making a mini lollipop, I don't actually need a lot of clay. I just need a little bit of it. Okay, so I'm just going to cut a bit of it. If I roll this up into a ball, right, it's maybe and flatten it, it's maybe as big as a 10-cent coin. That's how much clay you would want. Okay, because if I do flatten this and a lollipop is about this shape, right? That's how much that's how big your lollipop will be. Okay, so what I want the shape of it, I want it in a long string like, not too thin, of course. So just I will always roll from one side to the other side. So from the right to the left, my right to the left, okay? And then we will just roll one way this way. All right. So we will do this. And I'm going to start with the pink, this pink, okay? And then I'm going to also roll it into a string-like shape. So you can hear my neighbor's dog barking next door. They recently got a new dog. So it's been it's some getting used to. Okay. Uh so I got it about the same length for the two. All right. So I'm going to just put them together. So what I really like about this is because you don't have to be too uniform with it. Okay, it doesn't have to like the thickness of it. Actually, it doesn't have to be the same throughout. I know for some of the previous projects I've done, the thickness is important, but for the lollipop, not really. Okay, you just want to make sure they're about the same length, and then you're going to just twist it this way. You put them side by side, so you actually have the color variation. So today is very, very simple. Now, some people, they do like this pattern. If you see the twist this way, and you can still see the twist and the bumps and things like that. It's not very smooth, okay? It's not a very smooth column, but I prefer it to be really smooth. So because there are most of the lollipops out there, if you look, right, and the swirl that goes this way, they're actually quite smooth and they're not like bumpy like this. There are some like that, but I don't want that kind of look. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm going to use this flat piece of plastic. If you don't have this, right, the next best option will be to use your photo frame, like if there's a piece of glass in front of it and things like that. That will be one of the options that you can choose to use, all right? As long as it's something smooth and flat, you are fine, okay? All right. If there's any questions, please feel free to ask, and then I will answer it. Okay. So basically what I'm doing is I'm using this piece of plastic to just flatten the surface of the string. So if you can see, it's now quite flat. It doesn't have that bumpy texture to it. If like some of it is too closely together, okay, the twist is too close together, you can always just give it a bit of a twist again, and it will even out also, okay? It will become more uniform. All right, so you can do that. Then very simple, one is done already. It's actually very, very fast, okay? So this is for the pink colored one. So I'm done with this one. So now I will do my green, okay? So for my green, I'm choosing three colors. There's the lighter shade. This one is a bit of a shiny color. Why I chose like something that a clay that has a bit of shine to it, or we call it pearl, is because usually when we look at lollipops, they're usually quite shiny. So that's why I have chosen this color to give it a bit of more of a shine. All right, and then there's the dark green. Yeah, this is emerald green. I think that's what they call it. So you can find it in any art friend and things like that. Okay, you just want to take note. Recently, when I went to art friend, a lot of the polymer clays have been sold out. I couldn't even find it in Spotlight anymore. But I think this has become quite a popular hobby. So when I was there on last weekend, there were a lot of people in that polymer clay section actually just buying out quite a lot of the polymer clays. Okay, so if you want to look for if you're looking for some of the polymer clays, right, it actually is a bit hard to find now. So you might have to go to the one in Bras Basah, which is bigger. They have more options there, or the one in Clementi, because the one in Plaza Sing was like completely, it was completely sold out. All right. So you do want to take note. All right, so what I'm going to do with this screen pretty much is the same thing. Okay, I am just going to roll it out into a string, and then I'm going to have do it with the three colors. Okay, so this is the light one. So I'll start with the lighter one first. Okay. So she is asking how come most of it is also out. Yeah, it's actually I think people are just looking for things to do now. A lot of the places of interest, it's really not, we don't have a lot of options. And then recently I heard like a lot of the places or attractions that people are going to, like the zoo and where else was that? I think Resorts World, they were actually getting to be quite crowded because people have started hearing that it's open. The first time when me and Upa went to Gardens by the Bay, it was actually not very crowded. It was very few people, but I heard recently that it's getting more and more crowded. It's hard to book a time slot. So in the end, there's actually not many options that people have now, to do. So they're starting to go into hobbies and things like that. And because they can meet up in groups of five, so it's also something that they can, do with friends while they are it's an alternative. It's an alternative because I guess there's quite limited number of things that we can do. So this is one of the alternatives that people are trying. And I think as a hobby, this is a great hobby, kids will love it. Kids will love it. And then also it's something that is easy. It's not very messy. If I were to take up painting and things like that, I think it would be very, very messy. So this is one of the simpler things, hobbies that is out there. Um, let's see. Yes, gosh, actually, Stephanie, you're right. Also, there are a lot of people that are very interested in making Teachers' Day because Teachers' Day is coming up. So they're making Teachers' Day gifts. I think one of my sessions I was showing how to make paper clips, and that is a very popular Teachers' Day gift because it's something that teachers use a lot, paper clips. So I've seen also polymer clay on the pen, the the covering of the pens and things like that. They wrap the polymer clay around the pen. So there was at one point of time, I know it's very popular to use like string, and then they would make the names or a word while twining the string around the pen. Okay, I've received one of those gifts before, but recently I've seen more polymer clay items on like paper clips and pens and things like that. So it's something that it's handmade, so easy to do, and you can make it in bulk for sure if you buy it and do this in bulk. Okay, so for the green, I have the three colors all here together like that. Okay, I just put them together this way and then I just twist it. Okay. I like it when I actually have like three colors. It's a little bit more fun. And the pattern is actually, I think the color pattern comes out a little bit nicely. So I really like it when I have more colors to play with. The rainbow colors will be really, really nice. The only thing about rainbow colors is when you're rolling it out, right? You just need to make sure that it is thinner because you're using seven different colors. So if you do combine the seven clays together, right, it will be thick if they're all too thick. So you just want to make sure it's a bit thinner. Okay, so then I'm just rolling out this way. So now I have a very colorful variation. To be honest, you don't have to worry if they are not very evenly spread because basically we're going to make a spiral out of it, so it will be okay. All right, next is the very simple part. We are going to prep the sticks for the lollipop. All right, so I'm using toothpick. Satay stick is a bit too thick. So you might not want to use satay sticks. If you have toothpick, it is better. Um, okay, and then basically I am just going to cut a third of it. From the pointy end, I'll cut a third of the toothpick. I'll cut a third of the toothpick around there. Okay. Ooh. This is when I should enlist Opa's help to help me. Yesterday I was cutting the toothpicks and they went flying everywhere and we had to play treasure hunt with the toothpicks. So he was, oh, Opa is offering to help now. Thank you. He's helping me cut the toothpick. One third the length, okay? So this is one third the length. We're going to use the sharp end to poke it into the lollipop. Okay, so that's why I like to use toothpicks too, because it's easier to insert it into the lollipop. Thank you. Can you cut another one for me? Oh, Opa, a bit longer. Thank you. Okay, so I have a few here. The two that's already cut. Opa's trying hard now. He's cutting. So for toothpicks, right? They are bakeable. You can put it in the oven, it is fine. So you don't have to worry about it catching fire or anything like that. Okay. All right. So I'm going to start with the pink one first. So what we are going to do is I'm going to cut the end of it because I don't quite like how the end looks like. So I'm going to cut away the ends first. Thank you, Oppa. So I have four lollipops here, the four lollipop sticks. Okay, so for the end, right, I'm going to just pinch it so that it will become a little bit rounder. All right. So then you can, and then I'm going to start rolling it like that in a spiral. Okay. And then when you're happy with how big it is, right, you can stop because sometimes this thing is too long. So if you roll it all the way, it'll end up being a very big lollipop. So maybe I'm happy with this size. This is big enough. So it's about one, hang on, one, two, about four, almost four rounds, okay? So I'm happy with this size. Going to cut it. When you cut it, right, cut it at an angle, okay? So cut it at an angle. Don't cut it straight this way. Cut it at an angle. All right. And then so that when you actually do it to the bottom, it actually and end it off, right? It actually looks a little bit nicer if you cut it at an angle. If you cut it straight, then it will be very ugly when you try and use your fingers to kind of just blend the ends to the lollipop itself. Okay, so you end up with something like that. All right, and then I will take one Usually what I'll do is the sharp end, right? I'll poke it through where I ended the where the end of the lollipop is, all right? Where we ended the rope. I'm trying to find the correct way to express this, okay? But where we ended it, okay, where we ended the lollipop, we kind of just poke it through there. And why I'm doing this is because it will give it a bit more stability. So just in case, if you don't want it to unravel after baking, right? It is best to just poke it through here so that the lollipop won't unravel after you're done baking it. Okay? So then this one lollipop is done. You can see here. Then very simple. We are going to take the eye pin. Okay, the eye pin is the one, this is the eye here. All right, so that's why we call it the eye pin. And then we're going to take a pair of wire cutters. So I'm going to measure how long I need the eye pin to be. Okay, so I am going to take a pair of wire cutters, cut away the end, and then I am going to take my sharp nose pliers and I'm going to actually bend the end a little. Okay, so for those that have watched my previous sessions before, you will know why I'm doing this. But for those that are new, I'll explain why. I always bend the pins a little at the end when I'm going to bake my eye pin together with the charm or my clay. It's because I want it to stick. I want a mechanical, we call it mechanical bonding to happen. Because if I don't bend anything and I just stick the eye pin in, it will go straight in, but it will come straight back out. Okay, it's a little bit different from the toothpick. Toothpick is wood, so wood, the texture is the surface of it's actually a little bit rougher. So when you bake it, right, it actually does not slip out easily at all, even if you just stick it in. But for metal, because the surface is a lot smoother, it can really just slip out of the clay if you stick it straight in without having this little bend at the tip. Okay, so if you can see here, I actually bended the end of the tip this way. Okay, and then I am going to directly on top of the stick of the toothpick where I stuck the toothpick in, I am going to stick the eye pin in this way. Okay, so then it is done like that. Okay, so that's my lollipop, one lollipop. Okay, now I'm going to do the green one. So if there's any questions, please feel free to ask. If you have any suggestions what I should do with all my charms, let me know. All right. I think it will be really, it's always really fun when people suggest something and I can make it. I like trying out new things, you know. So if you know you have any suggestions, please do let me know, okay? All right, so same thing for this one. Earlier on, I had cut away the ends. I didn't really like the ends. And then I am just going to pinch one end to kind of round it off a little. Okay, and then I'm going to roll it, start my spiral. And I'm going to give it a good few rounds until I'm happy with the size. So I think I'm quite happy with this. The size is big enough like that. It's about 4 rounds, okay? And then I'm going to cut it at an angle again. Okay, I don't straight this way, it really won't turn out nicely. So if you cut it at an angle, it always turns out a little bit nicer. Okay? So I cut it at an angle and then I just round it off. I had to try and blend it. Oh, so Yuting asked, have you tried earrings? Yes. So actually when I'm making this, I actually have a lot of charms. So you can make earrings with it too. Um, earrings, there are many different types of earrings. I did do earrings with some of the sweet charms I have made. You can do a lot of things, or you can make it into a pendant, a very cute little pendant and things like that. I've seen a lot of keychains, a lot of bracelets. So there's a lot of things you can do with this actually. So this is really more of a charm than, and you can attach it to anything after you're done baking. All right. And that one, in 2 weeks' time, I will be showing how to what you can do with all these charms. So I'll be showing you like how to make it into a bracelet, or how to make it into keychains, or how to put some of these charms and make them into very cute little earrings. And a lot of times you can, sweets are sweets. You can have them mismatched. You can have a donut on one side and a cupcake on the other. It's really up to you. You can play around with that. So I will definitely do those things in 2 weeks' time. So next week will be another project, one last project for sweet, and then I will show you what are the options you have. Okay? Thanks for asking that question, you think it's a very good question. All right. Okay, so now same thing first. I'm just going to use the toothpick and I am going to put it where I ended the clay, okay, where it ended. I'll push it in this way. I want to push it in until maybe somewhere in the middle. Okay, so I want to just get from the bottom to about halfway. So it's like a regular lollipop. They do that with the lollipop stick too, okay? So same thing. I'm going to take my eye pin and then I'm going to, okay, I'll measure my lollipop and make sure that I cut it to the correct length I need. Use my sharp nose plier, bend the end so that I can have the mechanical bonding that I want. All right. Okay, so when you're doing this, for people who are new to jewelry making, this is a little bit, it takes a little bit of practice. All right. The clay actually, to make it how you want it, you can keep doing it and redoing it again. But this part with the metal, um, uh, what do you call metal fittings or metal accessories, it does take a little bit of practice. Okay, so if you really want to know how to do all this, you can always private message me and things like that. I have a group page as well for polymer clay jewelry making, and you can, you can always join the group. And if you have any questions, you can ask through the group. Okay, so I'll be looking on that constantly so that I can reply some of your questions. I know some people have actually asked whether they can have some sessions with me. So, and I'm completely open to that too. Okay. All right. So directly on top of the stick, I'm just going to insert it on the top this way, and then my lollipop is done. Okay. So I have made my green color lollipop and a pink one. So it looks like I have enough. I think I have enough pink lollipop here. Okay, so what I'm going to do for enough clay, I'm sorry, not pink lollipop, enough clay for another pink lollipop. So I'm going to just make one more here, okay? And then I will have one more lollipop. This one will seem to be a big one. Maybe I can make this into a keychain. This one is a very big lollipop. Okay. If your lollipop is bigger, right, then of course you can use a longer stick. So because I was making a miniature one, I only use 1/3 of the toothpick. But if you are having a lollipop that is a little bit longer, bigger, you want to make sure that your toothpick is also longer. Okay, so I'll poke it to somewhere in the middle this way. And then I'll use another eye pin. I'll measure it and cut. Use my flat nose to just bend the end. Oh, thanks, Cindy. Yes, please do try and send a picture, okay? Share it in the group too, because I think a lot of people would definitely like to see, what we have made and things like that. Please do send, we will always exchange opinions. Sometimes people do ask also like, oh, does this look, what can I do better and things like that. So I think it's just a very good platform to kind of share what you have done and maybe find some ways that you can improve or have some new ideas and things like that. Okay, and then I am just going to insert it right on top here. And go through. Yes, there we go. So this lollipop is done. A very big lollipop. Okay, so I've made 2, 3. So a green one and then 2 pink ones. All right. Okay, so I will be doing that. So these are done, they're ready for baking. When you bake it, right, you just want to make sure you put it on baking paper. I'm a little bit lazier. Opa, can you pass me that? Oh, no, I have one here, it's okay. So I actually used this is just a cupcake, like, paper cup. So you can totally use the cupcake paper cup if you're not baking a lot also. Okay, because I'm just lazy to tear parchment paper and then baking a parchment paper. So you can just this paper cup is good too if you're not baking a lot. But if you are baking a lot, then of course it's better to have parchment paper or baking paper and then lay it out on a tray. Line a tray and then put all your clay. Usually, if you have a big oven, the built-in kind, you would set it to about 120, 100 to 120, and then maybe 25 minutes to half an hour. Okay, a big oven, the heat does spread around a lot more, so it really won't burn your clay too easily. If you're using a small toaster oven, which many people have at home, okay, a small toaster oven, which can get up to about 100 degrees too. Okay, set it to 100. Don't set it to 120 because I've tried before, and because it's so much smaller, the heat really concentrated on the clay, and then the clay burnt. Okay, if your clay burns, you really can't save it anymore because it will be permanently damaged. All right, so you have to redo the whole thing again. But for a small toaster oven, you just want to set it to 100. Or if it's a low, medium, high setting, you set it to like a low to in between a low to mid. Don't set it to medium. Medium is also too high. All right. Time it for about 5 minutes first. I'm playing on the very safe side. It's because some ovens I tried it for 8 minutes and then it burnt too. So what you want to do is time it for 5 minutes, take it out. You will know it's not done baking, right? If like this clay is not baked yet. So if you use your nail to kind of press on it, right? It will have a it will have a nail mark. Okay, it will then, okay, it will be soft. It will sink. So you will know it's not done baking yet. So you try it like the bottom of it or something, you try and test with your nails to see whether it's done. If there's no mark for clay or for things that are already baked, okay, like this one's already baked, if I use my nails and press at it, there'll be no marks. Okay, so I know that this is already done baking. So what you want to do, stick it in for 5 minutes, take it out, test it, and then after that, try it again for like 1 or 2 minutes and in and out until it's done. Okay, why I'm saying to do that is because you can take note the amount of time you need. Some of it will be like 8 minutes, some of it 10 minutes, and things like that. So once you figure out how much time that your oven needs to bake the clay, then next time you don't have to do this testing phase again. You can just straight away leave it in for like 8 or 10 minutes, whatever the timing is. Every oven's a little bit different, so you do have to um, test and play around with it the first time. For the first time you're using the clay, using the oven to bake the clay. You don't have to worry about it being toxic or anything. It is fine, all right. As long as the baking tray that you're putting it in, you're not using it to bake food, it is okay. All right. Just place it in something that a tray that you don't use for food, and you are fine. That's why I use this like paper cupcake cups for myself. If I have a few, then I'll use a few of it because I don't want to mix the, this is purely for just baking clay. I don't use it for baking cupcakes. Okay, so if there's any more questions, let me know. If not, I'll move on to next week. Before I show you the end product of the lollipop, I'll show you what, oh, no, sorry. I'll show you how the end product of the lollipop is. So these are the ones I baked yesterday. Okay. So these are I baked 2 green ones yesterday. So the end products look like that. And I can make these into earrings, bracelet, charms, anything. All right. Which I'll show in 2 weeks' time. Another thing is, if I do want to make my lollipop shiny, you can always coat it with a nail polish top coat. Oh, thank you. Yeah, Oppa gave me. So I am going to coat it so it will be shiny because lollipops tend to be shiny, right? So I'm just going to coat it with a nail polish top coat. Why I'm using nail polish top coat? Because it's easier. You can always use the polymer glaze itself, okay? No issues there. It's just that if you use the polymer glaze, it will take about half an hour to dry, and it's just a lot more expensive if you buy it. Whereas top coat is fast and a little bit cheaper. Oh, Christmas vibes with all the green. Yeah, I know, right? Next time I'm going to make one that is for Christmas. It's probably going to be like red and white, candy cane color. All right. So this one is peppermint color, a little bit more green. But you're right. This is a very Christmassy color. Um, but I'll do the pink one, which I did earlier, is also for any occasion. So this one's done, so you can see the difference of, I don't know if you can see through the camera, the difference of one that is painted with the nail polish top coat and one that's not, okay? So there's a bit of a difference. It just depends on the type of look that you're going for. Okay, maybe I can get Oppa to hold this while it's drying. Thank you, Oppa. He's gonna hold that for the next 2 minutes or so until it dries. He's spreading it this way now. Okay, so I will show you what I'm doing next week. Okay, or the materials that you will need for next week. Okay, I am going to make a slice of cake next week. So that will be the last, that will end off my sweet series. Okay. So in order to make a slice of cake, basically I'm going to build the cake and then I'm going to slice it. So I have my sliced cake. But the colors you would need, I'm going to make a chocolate cake. Okay, so you would need, they have chocolate color like this. Okay, this is chocolate color. Let me see, they wrote the color on it and it says burnt umber. All right, the color says burnt umber 5053. Okay, but I just call it chocolate. It looks exactly like a chocolate color. Okay, the other one is just black. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to mix, I'm going to show you how I mix the color and then how I'm going to do a chocolate cake. Okay, so you just need these two colors, very simple. If you don't like chocolate cake and you want to make another color, that's completely fine. you just need to know what color the sponge of the cake is and the icing is. So one color will be for sponge and one color will be for icing. Okay, so usually they have like strawberry shortcake, so it's a little bit of like the sponge colors, like a bit yellowish white, off white, and then you have white icing. All right, so you will need those two colors. Or you have very colorful like lavender or Earl Grey tea cakes or things like that. So you can choose. Just make sure we keep it simple first, okay? So just two colors, one for the sponge and one for the icing. All right. Why my two colors are brown and black is because my chocolate sponge is going to be a bit darker than the chocolate icing. So the chocolate icing is going to be this color, but the sponge, I'm going to actually mix a bit of black into this chocolate color to make it darker. All right. So that's why I chose these two colors. And then you have a cookie cutter. If you have a round one, that would be great. If you don't have this, it's fine. Get a bottle cap. Those disposable mineral water bottle cap. We have one over there, Opa. Where? Yeah. So you can just get a bottle cap, and it's a bottle cap is good enough. Okay. I got it. This one's of a Ice Mountain bottle. All right. It's a little bit smaller than this, but it's fine. Okay. You just need something to kind of make the shape for you. So and then you can just use your cutter and things like that to just cut round the shape it has made for you. Okay, if not, or you can press it all the way through and then we'll just have to use a toothpick or a satay stick to kind of just take the clay out. So that's completely fine. Okay, so get either one of these. And then if you can get an eye pin, okay, so an eye pin you can get from Art Friend or Spotlight because eye pins, you need this to connect it to whatever you're making. Okay, so if you're making earrings, anything like that, you do need this eye pin. Okay, the other thing you will need is baking paper. So you can work, if you're working on glass top like I am, you do not need the baking paper. You can just work on top of the glass. But if your table is not smooth, your working table is not smooth, then just get baking paper and just line it with baking paper. And then get a roller. Okay, this is to help roll flat because we need to roll things flat next week. If you don't have a roller, that's fine. A glass, like cup, anything that's just round, it is okay. So you can use those to just help you roll it flat. Okay, I've seen people use rolling pin before, and that is fine. But rolling pin is a lot of people use it to eat. So just make sure the things you're using, you're not going to use it for consumption. Okay, so these are the materials you'll need next week. Then of course for the pliers, okay, I got special pliers, but if you don't have, just make sure you have something to cut wire for like a wire cutter. This is because you need to cut the eye pin to size, the length. And then if you have sharp nose pliers like these ones, it will be great. Okay. So these are just all the things that you would need for next week. If anyone wants to wants to meet up to buy all these materials, that is fine. We can also arrange something. Just do join the group. So when you join the group and then you drop a message in or post in the group, we will be able to arrange for a meetup and things like that. So you can get prepared for the materials you will need next week. Okay? If not, thank you for joining. I'm so glad. I see a lot of comments about chocolate cake and how excited they are. I hope I don't crave for chocolate cake while making it next week. But thank you for joining today. I had a lot of fun teaching. So I will come back again next week. If you any questions in the meantime, remember to join my group. Drop a comment in there, and I'll definitely reply. All right. So have a good weekend, everyone. Please do stay tuned in the Artsphere group as well. There's a lot of sessions happening later. My husband will be teaching Korean, and then there will be Jasmine will be doing face. I think it's a facial um, session, and then there will be a workout session at 5 o'clock. Okay, so then you will end before having dinner. You can work out first before having dinner. Okay, usually weekends our dinners are very big, so we just want to maybe work out a little bit before that. Tomorrow there'll be a lot of sessions also, so do check in to our Axia page and see what other sessions are happening. If not, everyone, please have a good weekend, and I'll see you guys again next week. Bye.